Okay, hi everybody. I'm with Rich Wilkes of Rich Wilkes Films today. We're going to be talking about video and filming and generally how uncomfortable it is and how we get comfortable with it. So Rich, can you introduce yourself please?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Rich from Rich Wilkes Films. I make films for myself and to entertain people. Generally going outdoors. I've kind of got a background in climbing as well, so I try and make climbing, hiking, walking videos to entertain people, as well as making corporate videos for customers.
Thanks, Rich. Right, so we were just talking about how uncomfortable being in front of a camera can be. So I'd just like you to relay the story we talked about a few minutes ago of how you started with all this, because I think that's a really key point.
Yeah, okay. So when I was a little boy, we used to have video cameras knocking around the house, those big old ones. I've still got one upstairs, actually, the ones that stuck on your arm and were absolutely huge. So I used to enjoy playing with that with a little kid. And then actually it was my 21st birthday present was to have a little handheld camcorder.
Yeah.
And this was around the year 2000, 2003. I used to go out and just record videos of myself talking rubbish to the camera. And I was quite comfortable with that. But it was video that was just for me. It was never meant to be watched by anybody. It was just kind of, it was vlogging before vlogging was a thing. It was just to document my day in the hills. And then kind of 2003, 2004, YouTube came along and I became very self-aware, I guess, at that time as well. I was kind of at that age. And obviously the internet was booming. There's a lot of trolls kind of coming out. And the whole idea of making a video to put online, I didn't know how to deal with it. It wasn't something I wanted to do. I wasn't comfortable doing it, and the thought of being trolled basically and putting myself out there, the only way I knew how to deal with it was to stop. And at that point, I was in a corporate career, so I just stopped. I didn't do it. I didn't need to do it, and I didn't want to do it. So the video camera kind of just went away because I stopped enjoying the whole process. And we ended up at the loft where it stayed for quite a number of years. And then obviously that technology is obsolete. And then I got into doing this and had to force myself to be on this side of the camera. I kind of retreated behind the camera and became very comfortable behind the camera.
How did you do that? How did you become comfortable? What did you specifically sort of do?
I joined a Facebook group that was dealing with social media, and it was a closed group, and we were challenged at the beginning to do a Facebook Live, well, not a live, a video to the group to explain why we were in that group and how we got there. And I thought this is something I need to do, not only for the person who was running the group, but for myself. And I wanted to be one of the first people to do it, just to get it over and done with. So I sat down on this sofa with my camera, did about 20 takes. Eventually, I was happy with the last one. And because I've always played around with video editing to some degree, even just to document my trips, I did a bit of editing on it and then uploaded it. Which there was a lot of apprehension, but as soon as you press like the upload button, it's done. It's out of your hands, and it was really well received. A lot of people, because it was from the heart, and it was truthful, and it was me. It was really well received. So within that group, people said this is a really good video. You should get this. You know, if you're comfortable with it, publish it wider. So I published it publicly on Facebook. And you know what? The trolls, nothing bad happened. I wasn't trolled. People were very supportive. And then from there, it's just been a gradual process.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because we were talking earlier. One of the things when I first started, in fact, when I launched my business, the day I launched my business, I had to do an online Facebook Live. And I can honestly say at the time, it felt like the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And because I had to share my story of why I started, I'd never actually shared it like that before. So I actually broke down, and I look back now, and where I thought I would cringe, I don't. I actually go, like you're saying, it was very raw. So it's not as bad as you think. But when you're doing it, when you're talking to yourself on a screen, it's absolutely, you know, I know it myself at the time, it felt horrendous. And even now, you know, doing it, as I said earlier, doing this sort of thing, when I'm talking to somebody, I can see somebody, I'm absolutely fine. But if I have to sit and talk to myself, you become very self-critical, don't you? You suddenly start picking holes in yourself as soon as you watch it back.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you still do that, do you? Or you say you're more comfortable now, so.
I'm a bit more comfortable, and I think people struggle with a number of reasons. It's either technology they're not very confident with, which didn't really apply to me because I'm a bit of a geek and I like my tech. That is one thing people struggle with. The other thing is the visual appearance, and the other thing is the way they sound on video. And if you put all three together, then you're just going to build up anxiety within. So with tech, you can always practice. There's different ways of doing it. Before we had this call, I just wanted to check everything worked. So like on Zoom, you can just do a meeting of yourself and check things out. On Facebook, you can do a live and you can set privacy to only you, so you can play with technology. Yeah, you can. So if you want,
that's a good one to know, because I didn't know that, and I was fine with Facebook. Oh, I don't want to go live.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to test it, but I don't want to go live.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Or you could do what I did, find a little group of supportive people and go live into that group. You can either create a group if you want, a little secret test group of your own when you're the only one in there, and go live to a group of one. So there are ways around it. And I presume the other social media channels you can do that. So that deals with the tech. Visually, or to get used to the sound of your own voice, and the way you look, you've just got to kind of want to do it and listen to yourself repeatedly. I did suggest that some people, you could read the newspaper to yourself, for example, or read an article, and just listen to yourself back and listen to how you're sounding. And because I think, because I'm from the Midlands, and because of the way I speak, I do tend to be quite monotone, although I do try and change it a little bit.
But I can relate to that, because being from Yorkshire, I think my accent comes across stronger on this than if you meet me on a day-to-day basis. So I pick up on certain words I say, and my daughter ribs me something chronic about, the way I pronounce some words. And I listen back and I think I can hear them, whereas normally I wouldn't. So
like you say, we're very self-critical, aren't we? So reading a paper, you can use a voice memo thing to get used to the sound of your voice. And visually, just make yourself feel as best as you can. I did this morning think about putting a shirt on, but I just gone with this thing. But just make yourself feel as best as you can. When it comes to editing, because I have to, because I want to craft my message into something very particular. So I spent a lot of time editing my own voice and video, and also for my clients as well. And I've got to a point where when I'm editing, I don't see it as myself. The person on screen isn't me. And I think you just got to kind of just detach yourself. If you are editing videos of yourself, you've got to detach yourself from that person.
That's quite interesting. I didn't think of it that way, because I don't do the editing on these, but I must admit, when I have watched them back, I do go, oh, why didn't you change that? And she'll say, because I didn't need to, I actually like it. And I always have to go, okay. Because you say you're so self-critical, so that's interesting that you actually detach yourself. So do you just see yourself as another client then? You've learned to do that complete detachment?
Yes, I don't see it as me on the screen. I'm paying more attention to the message and what I'm saying and how the message is coming across and the story I'm trying to tell, rather than getting all worked up about how do I look and how do I sound. Obviously, if I do mumble over words, I do try and cut things out but I'm not. It's not. It's what I'm saying, not how I'm saying it or how I'm coming across. Let's say.
So, what are the common mistakes that people make then when they're creating videos? Come on, you must have loads here.
Common mistakes. I'm glad you're not doing it. Having the camera too low and looking up people's nose. It's not a great view to look up people's nose. Also, on a psychological level, you're looking down on your audience.
Oh, right, yeah.
So you kind of patronising them. You want to be on eye level with them. So you're on a level footing with them. And similarly, if it's too high looking down at you, again, it's not a great angle photographically. And it also puts you in a more submissive role between them. Just a little bit of psychology. So eye level is great for most things. Obviously, if you're trying to tell a story and you're trying to present somebody as a hero, then you can get a little bit lower and present them as a hero. Other bad things, bad lighting, bad sound. I think sound is probably more important than video. If you think about it, and the videos you watch and skip past, people can tolerate a lot of really grainy footage because you can kind of guess what's going on. But if there's like a background noise, or if it's difficult, it takes up a lot more brain processing power to get rid of the noise, the background noise, or the audio distractions.
Zoom's quite good for this though, isn't it? Because obviously that's what we're using at the moment, because I've been paranoid in the past that like my laptop has been pinging in the background, but actually when I've gone back to it, you don't hear it because the Zoom has, or certainly my laptop has sort of blocked it out, which I was quite surprised at. Because I've also been paranoid that you could hear our dogs having a good bark. I thought, oh, they didn't.
Okay, it's good to know Zoom is good at that.
Yeah, it's only recently I've realised it, because I was like, oh my God, my laptop was pinging away in the background. I thought, you didn't hear it. So it's obviously
that's good.
Blocked that sound out. It's just focused on, when somebody speaks, because obviously it switches the colour of the screen depending on who's speaking. But it is for me anyway.
Other bad things, people not using a tripod, which is good for things like this. I've got my phone on a tripod. Obviously, if you've got a laptop, then that's normally on a desk anyway. But some people can get away with it, some people can't. But being out and about and swinging your phone around is just going to make your audience motion sick.
Yeah, it's also a distraction, isn't it? Because you start focusing on where the camera's going as opposed to what the person's saying. Yeah.
And I also think, again, a bit of psychology, that if you're having a meaningful, important conversation with somebody, you're going to be sitting down and talking to them face to face over a cup of coffee. That's how you do it in real life. If you were going to sack somebody, you wouldn't go for a walk, would you? And it's that kind of level of intimacy that you want with your audience.
Yeah.
So if you're going out and walking because you're so busy that you need to go for a walk and you can't spare your audience 5 minutes, then why should your audience spare you 5 minutes of their time? That's the kind of way I think about it. Some people can get away with it, they've got a die-hard collective of fans who will watch them, whatever. But I think if you're having a meaningful conversation, you need to be sitting down and talking to your audience as you would in real life over a cup of coffee.
Yeah. That's quite interesting. I haven't thought about that either. Because I say you see a lot of that where people, as I say, I personally don't like it. I like to sit and watch a conversation. I'm like you're talking about. I don't like to see, all right, sometimes you're showing somebody's thing, but if somebody's walking around talking, you get the sound of the weather bit around them, usually the wind whistling around, and I don't feel as engaged. Yeah, I do tend to zone out when somebody's doing that, or I get distracted by maybe that car going past when they're talking, thinking, "Oh, what's that?"
Or the dog running off because they're walking the dog. And also one thing we discussed at the start was how difficult it sometimes feels when you're talking to a camera. Because it's quite normal for us to have a conversation, even though it is through a screen. But when you're recording yourself, you haven't got that feedback, and it's easy to just, you know, stop and go off and then delete it. Whereas there's more incentive when there's two of you. But definitely through a screen, when you're recording yourself or through a lens, you don't get that feedback, and I think that's what some people struggle with. I know I certainly did. You say something, you get nothing back.
Yeah, because it's even like we are now, where I'm nodding in agreement with you, or actually making the sound, you know, making that noise that, yeah, I agree with you. You don't get that, do you? So it's almost like, do I move on to my next point? You know. So
Am I understood?
Yeah. So you're looking for that approval, I guess, aren't you?
Yeah. Am I being understood? Is this resonating my audience? And of course, if you've got no audience there, you've just got a camera. You've just kind of got to guess that. And I think that comes with a bit of practice. But also, it comes with practice and crafting your message and knowing what you're saying. But there's no reason you've got to start somewhere, haven't you?
Yeah. And as I say, I know that it's taken me a long time to get comfortable with it, and I don't put out videos of just myself these days. I sometimes think about it, but then I think I would spend too much time faffing about, and you know, I am that person that likes to have a conversation. So for me, I find it quite difficult. But you know, that's why I prefer doing interviews. I think you get more out of something if you've got, you know, two of you giving than just me. I don't know. I think that's just my perception of things, and that's just me making excuses for not doing videos.
I can relate to that. I think it's important when you produce any content, whether it's written, video, audio, whatever, you want to add value to people's lives. You don't want to just be broadcasting stuff for the sake of broadcasting. And that value can come across as entertainment, as education, as inspiration. And so I don't like making videos just for the sake of making videos. And I don't do enough videos myself. I know that. But the videos I do want them to be entertaining or educational in some way. Not just look at me, I'm at home, because everyone else is at home these days. It needs to be something beyond that.
So what's your client base then? Who do you work with?
At the moment, I'm working for quite a variety of people. I haven't kind of niched down yet. I am going through the process of rebranding, and I want to be working with more outdoor type businesses. People will make, although everything, you know, with everything going on, I don't see where it's going to go at the moment. But people making specialist equipment for rock climbers, or working height stuff, as well as kind of the outdoor wear, leisure outdoor wear kind of scene, hiking, walking, that kind of industries. At the moment, I'm making interview videos for a wide variety of businesses, from public speakers, doctors, entertainment companies, or So I haven't niched down yet, but I'm kind of I'm seeing what.
I suppose it's difficult if climbing and things is your passion, and obviously at the moment, because we're so restricted under, you know, isolation, that it's not something you can get out and do. But is that what you would love to aim towards then, because it's your passion?
Yes, making documentaries and kind of telling people stories about being out in the mountains, whether it's someone's personal story, personal adventure, or whether it's a corporate or a brand who's launching a new outdoor product, a new rain jacket or something like that. That is kind of, that's where I want to go. It's a work in progress getting there. And actually, this weekend gone, I was due to film a video in the Lake District about mental health, but I had to postpone that because of everything that's going on.
Are you doing anything yourself outside at the moment, or are you just keeping it completely to the corporate work that you've got?
At the moment, I'm staying at home as much as I can, and I've got some editing to do, so I'm just plowing through the editing, doing what I can. I'm also doing adding frames and captions to people's videos to make them more appealing online.
Yeah.
And yeah, outside, I'm not doing any work outside, but I'm trying to get out just to take a break from the house, do a bit of exercise, do a bit of running.
Okay, great. Oh, thanks so much, Liz. It's been really useful
No
talking. I've learned a couple of things from it, definitely. So, because I know I say I'm the world's worst when it comes to videos and things. So where can people find you then, Rich?
You can find me on Facebook, Rich Wilkes Films. My website's richwilkesfilms.com. I'm also on YouTube. If you go to richesadventures.com, it'll take you to my YouTube page.
I think actually I follow you. So if everybody goes onto my page, they'll see. In fact, you're one of the top ones that comes up on my page.
Okay.
So you're there. Brilliant. So. Oh, thanks so much for today. I really, really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I'm sure people will learn from the tips.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.